Okay, let's talk about the reverse function. Here is one confession I have to make. Yesterday, I made a video about how the reverse function works underneath, and I realized that I didn't get it right. Yeah, someone pointed out to me like, that's probably not the way the reverse function works. And then I went into the documentation, look into it, and I realized that I've been using the reverse function the wrong way. And I believe you too might have the same realization right here. So what we're going to do in this video is pretty simple. We're going to start just like in the previous one by using the native API and showing you actually how the reverse function works from the JavaScript. And then we're going to implement that from scratch, okay? So let's get going here. We're going to just call the collection.reverse, right? That's it. If you look into that, we're just gonna put that into a result and then check the result. And we see indeed that it got reversed, right? We went from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and that object here. And then we just reverse it. Pretty simple, right? We could stop here, but actually, let's do something. What do you think? Is the result and collection the same? That's probably the thing I missed right there. So if I do result and collection and I look into them this way, I see that they are the same. They are the same, and that's the assumption that I missed in the previous video when I actually just assumed that you just need to return a new array and then put things in reverse in that new array. Actually, JavaScript provides you a function that does that for you. It's called toReversed. In the previous video, I didn't really know about it this way, but what I'm going to make sure is like in the next video, I will re-implement the toReverse function so that you see exactly what happened there. But that's not it. Let's say something here. In that object, in that array, I put an object there. So what you will do here is if you change that object, will it change everywhere? Meaning every copy of it, right? So let's see how that works. So I'm just gonna go with result and we go at the position 0 and take learn. And what we get there is, yes, let's just look into it. And then we have this right there, right? Say gems.dev. Now let me put it here and get it from the collection as well. And we see indeed that it's working. It's basically the same. So that's not really a surprise here. Just with this line 10 should tell us that is the same, right? So we have that line here. That's really important for us. And then we realize that indeed, when we look into this value and this value, they're basically the same because these two arrays are the same. Okay, so let's pause here and then go ahead and re-implement that from scratch. The way we're going to do that is actually just by changing the API here. And what I'm going to do is to actually pass the collection this way. So we have to write this reverse function right there. So let's go ahead and create a reverse function. And what that reverse function does, it takes a collection. Okay. What I'm going to do is to use the fact that I don't know what that thing is. So I'm going to go with unknown right there. And then from there, what we want to do is just to return collection. So that's basically where we start, right? We start with returning the collection. With that in place, we're going to use two cursor, one going from the left and the other one's going from the right. And what they're going to do is try to reach each other. So each time they move one step, they then change their values. Another step, they just change the value. That's basically what we're going to do right there. So let's do that here. So I'm going to first just put the left cursor. The left cursor will come from the for loop. So I'm going to put the right cursor here. I'm going to call that right cursor. So we have a proper name here. I like naming stuff. So we're going to say with the right cursor is actually the collection length. And I'm going to start at literally the last position of that array. And then we're going to start with the for loop. And that for loop, I'm going to call this one the left cursor. And then we're just going to say collection there. right? So let's move that all the way at the top. Let me move a little bit right there. So let's see that. What we have here, we have indeed the right cursor. That's going to be the one coming from the left. We have the right cursor right there. No, that's the left cursor. And then the other one is actually the right cursor. And what we're going to do, as I just explained already, is the left cursor comes from the left. So start at 0 toward the right. And that's the way it's going to be incremented right there. Okay. And then what we're going to do is to add right here at the end, we're going to add the right cursor there. But what we're going to do is to decrement it. Okay. So let me make sure that we can see exactly what's happening here. So making it a little bit smaller. And then with that said, what we then need to do is to change the position in place. So the way we're going to do that is, first, we're going to create a temp value where we're going to put the value of the left element, right? I say const here, left here, but I can use a const right there. So the left value has been stored temporary, but we want that value to go to the where the right cursor is. So what we're going to do is collection.left cursor, right? And now we're just gonna say collection.right cursor. So what we're basically saying there, I'll just put it a little bit bigger here so we could see it a bit further, a bit better. So what we're saying there is we have the left cursor that is basically going there, and we take that value, we put it in a temp variable here, and then that left cursor, that element there, is now being replaced right there with this thing, right? It just goes this way, which means that from that point on, we have just one more thing to do, which is basically taking the right cursor, so collection right cursor, and putting the temp value in there, right? So from the moment we have that, we want to make sure that if that's now the moment both are about to cross each other, so it's basically going this way. So what we want to do is to say if the left cursor is higher than the right cursor, at that exact moment, we want to do one thing, is to break the entire loop, right? Because at that exact moment, we know that we already did, both extreme have changed position, and then from there, it should be done. So if we look at the result right there, we see indeed that our reverse is doing exactly what we had before. And since we're doing things in place, result and collection are still the same. So let me show you again a little bit the code here, and then let you tinker with it for a second. The thing that is really important here to play with is this. Really understand what happened right there. The left cursor and the right cursor are the magic element. They just have to walk backward from each other, and then at some point they reach each other. It's like, oh, okay, we're at the same position. If we're at the same position, then we still need to do the operation, or we stop from there. But at that exact moment, you think, no, they will be at the same position only when the numbers are even, if you have an even array. So what I mean by that is, if you go back all the way here at the top, if you go here at the top, you see that this is basically 6 element, right? So if I go here and remove this one, this is 5 element, and then you're going to see that at some point they're gonna reach the value 3 there, so position 2 at the same time, and then they will want at the next iteration, they will just go and say, hey, we cannot go higher than that because left cursor is higher than the right cursor. And last thing before we finish here is you could visualize that here. by using a simple console log, and then you look at the left cursor and the right cursor, right? That's basically the way you visualize it. So you see it goes 0, 4, right? And then 1, 3. So you see how they're coming together. And then at some point they go 2, 2. It's like, okay, we still need to do. And then if they want to go one more here, and basically breaks from there. And then you can see indeed that it's still working. Okay, so that's the end of this video. One thing that I want to make sure that you understand in this entire thing, we're rebuilding this thing from scratch as a way to learn, as a way to become just better and understand these tools literally from like underneath. So give it a try. You just go on the GEMS platform or just follow the link I have in comment and give it a try yourself. Okay, that's two things. It will allow you to support this channel, but also to become better, because these are the hands-on part of it, and you're just gonna find 100 of exercises there that allow you to grow your technical skills. And for me, I'm gone. Bye.